You can think of motion graphics like a constant war between art and science. Usually the goal is to make something attractive, appealing and stunning. But at the same time, there's a reason why lay people refer to it as CGI. The computer does the hard work. And in this war between disciplines, science has a key weapon in its arsenal: expressions. Expressions are the programming language of After Effects. But if you're absolutely terrified of programming, then trust me, it's really easy to get started. Here I am with a simple comp, and I have a square solid in the middle. And I want my solid to rotate. Now normally to rotate my solid, I tap R on the keyboard and set some keyframes. But what if I've got some convoluted reason why I don't want to, such as... Oh, I got one! I've got this comp set to 10 seconds. But now I want to increase its length to 20 seconds. To do that, I have to go to Composition, Composition Settings, and change the duration, and then I have to adjust my keyframes. I quite like the speed of rotation, so I can't just drag my second keyframe to the end. And now I've doubled the duration, so it's easy enough to double the rotation value. But what if the comp had to be 14.2 seconds? You see, it starts to get awkward. So instead, let's try holding down the Alt key and clicking on the rotation stopwatch. And now type in the word time. That's it, nothing fancy. Time gives me a value for the current time in seconds of the composition. It's not rotating a lot at the moment, but if I click on the expressions area and type in times 36, or asterisk 36, the current time value is multiplied by 36, which means that the solid will rotate a full circle, 360 degrees every 10 seconds. Now in this expression, it's completely ignoring the keyframe values I'd already made. But what if I wanted to keep those values? That is to say, not start at 0. In this comp, I've got a shape layer, and it's set to be a clock face. I know we haven't covered shape layers, they're like solids, but make shapes easier than masks. But we'll just leave them for now. So I've got my shape layer, and I've got my clock face, and an hour hand. Ignore the minute hand for the moment. And now I want to set my clock to move a bit faster than real time, although maybe not 12 hours in 10 seconds. How about an hour in that time? So Alt click on the rotation stopwatch and type time times 36 divided by 12. Cool. But what if we wanted the clock to start at 3? So let's edit our expression and type value plus time times 36 divided by 12 and inside the closing bracket. Remember maths lessons? BODMAS, brackets, orders, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. We need our brackets to do our addition after our multiplication. Value is the current user set value on the rotation property. And then I add it to the time times 36 divided by 12, and yeah, I know that that's time times 3. Now for the minute hand. So we could use the same expression and scratch out the 12 thing. But what if I wanted to change the speed of time? I'd have to edit both the expression. So instead, let's use a parenting trick. Turn on the minute hand and expand the rotation properties. Now, use this pick whip to link the minute hand rotation to the hour hand. Now expand the expressions area, click to edit it, and at the end type in times 12 or asterisk 12. Now our minute hand rotates the correct amount for the time change on the hour hand. And we could add in the same value plus trick. If you ever want to disable an expression, just click on the equals icon. Now, suppose this is too slow. Let's edit the expression on the hour hand, and there we go. Here it is on a fractal noise effect, and I've set it on the evolution property. The next most common expression is wiggle. This creates a wobble on whatever it is applied to. It's a really useful way of adding randomized movement without manually keyframing. Ahem. Wiggle can be applied to any property and automatically determines if it's a single property like rotation or a double one like position. More on that in a moment. Wiggle comes in two parts. The first value is frequency, how many times per second After Effects should set a new value. So if you want something to wobble at a frame rate of your comp, this value would be 24 or 25 or 30. By the way, you never want something to wobble that much. And if you want something to change once every 10 seconds, then you can use 0.1. The value after the comma sets the range that After Effects will choose from for the next value. So in this example, I want After Effects once per second to choose a new position value of up to 150 pixels from its starting value. And if this feels like it's really hard to remember which way round frequency and amount are, then yeah, nearly 20 years in and every time I mix them up. Easiest solution, set one value low and one value high, and then after a preview you know which is which. Now suppose I want to wobble in the X direction only. That brings me on to coordinate values. In this comp, I have my position coordinates in my alt tag. I had to type these in manually, but it's to illustrate the array in action. I've got my X and Y coordinates, and because I've set an expression for my values, I can't move my layer. See how it appears to adjust the coordinates, but when I let go it snaps back? This is a handy way of fixing a layer you might want to edit, but don't want the position to change. Now you might be thinking to add a wiggle to X, you'd simply replace the X value in the array box. Unfortunately, no. After Effects knows you're expressionizing a property with two values and produces two wiggle values for you. So we have to target just one of those values. So let's rewrite our expression to make it easier to see what's going on. So it's X equals 960 semicolon, Y equals 540 semicolon, square brackets X comma Y, and then after the second square bracket semicolon. Now let's replace the 960 value for X with wiggle brackets 5, 150, closing brackets, opening square brackets 0, semicolon. That square bracket 0 square bracket is programming code for the first element in the coordinate array. 1 is the second or Y element, and if this were a 3D layer, 2 would be the Z element. Also notice that I'm not having to declare the final value to After Effects. There's no position equals XY. It's an efficiency of expressions that means you don't need this, although sometimes I think such efficiencies are a mistake, that it's easier to learn if everything is spelled out. Now there are hundreds or more likely thousands of expressions out there for you to discover and create your own from too. So I'm going to leave you with two more and then a challenge to find on your own. Here's the first one. I have a solid with fractal noise and color armor on it, making it look like fire, and have the evolution going by time again. And now let's enable this expression on the offset property of the transform settings. See, I've set my X value to be fixed, but my Y value is taking the time, multiplying it by 400, and because I want it to go up, I'm multiplying it by -1. Yes, I know I could write all of this more efficiently, but see my earlier comments on efficiency. And now I'm going to point these effects out. I'm not going to demonstrate their use in this video, but just to say, if you need properties that aren't doing something else, like you want to keyframe the wiggle amount on something, then Effects Expressions Controls provides you with keyframeable interface tools on your layer ready to interact with your expressions. And finally I have a blue circle with a wiggle expression on it and a red triangle. And I want my triangle to always point to the circle. To achieve this, I'm going to use an expression, as you might have guessed, but I'm not going to type it from memory. Instead, I'm going to alt-click on the rotation stopwatch, and now I'm going to use this icon to access what I call the expression library. For some reason, Adobe call it the expression language menu. And here, After Effects is packed with dozens of pre-written expressions. I wouldn't say it's worth exploring these just now. There's little guidance and it's easy to get lost. Let me demonstrate. Within vector math there's an expression called LookAt. Sounds perfect for my triangle. Clicking on it drops the code into the expressions area and tells me what I need to provide. A from point and an at point. Great! I'll highlight the from point and using the expressions pick whip select the blue circle. And I'll do the same for the at point. I've got something wrong. Oh, maybe I need the position values, not the layer names. Let's expose these properties and pick whip again. Nope. Clicking the warning triangle helps a tiny amount, but still. So we turn to Google and discover that LookAt is for 3D layers and goes on the orientation property, not the rotation property. So let's make the layer 3D and copy, cut and paste the expression onto orientation. So no errors, but it's facing the circle, not pointing at it. But I still have my rotation values. Adjusting the X and Y properties to 90 degrees finally sorts it, and yay! But thanks for the lack of help, After Effects Expressions language menu. I'm not really saying thing bad here, just that thing exists, and that there are pitfalls. Expressions are awesome and time-saving, but watch out for getting stuck for hours or days trying to write the perfect piece of code, when sometimes it might be easier to just manually keyframe. Okay, challenge time. Here's a comp that will not be included in the downloadable project file. It's a comp with two squares wiggling away, and they're attached by a line. How this is done is really simple, and there are clues in this video as to how I've done it. If you get stuck, post in the comments and I'll tell you. Enjoy, and until next time, happy VFXing.